Hey everybody, this is Aaron from Wise Wise, and this is my reflection video for episode 38, in which Alexander and I discussed the 3 R's, which are recognizing, respecting, and redirecting. And it's really a tool that can be used to go internal with any sort of situation that you're in. And usually it's used, or at least I use it most often when I'm in conversation with somebody and I start to feel a little bit of an emotional reaction, and my feel center is kind of like in my solar plexus, and so I can just feel it like just irk a little bit. And so you want to recognize that you are having an emotional reaction, and then respect that emotional reaction so that you're not entering into duality and fighting it, because what you resist persists. And then you want to redirect that energy into something more constructive, and so it does not end up inside your body as stored traumatic energy. So when I think about the 3 R's, I think about something that I've watched most recently, and that is a TV show that's on the Discovery Channel, and it's been around a while, so most of you may know about it or have seen it, and that's called Naked and Afraid. And the title may sound funny. It's not like some sort of adult show. It's about a male and a female that get together and form a team, and they go out into the wilderness without food, clothing, water, shelter, and of course clothes. And of course in the show it's blurred out, so you're not seeing all their junk hanging out. So it is, I don't want to say family friendly, but it is friendly to those who don't want to see too much of certain individuals. But it is such a good show to watch if you are doing this work and you want to watch other people just be at their limits. And because this is a show about the human condition, and it's like two people like in between life and death, basically. And I know it is a TV show, so it is a little cushy, and it's promoting that like two people are out there on their own, but of course there is a camera crew that follows them around, and they're not supposed to talk to them or give them anything, but it does have that perception of realness, to at least the two people there. And again, of course, it is a little different from actually being, lost out in the wilderness alone or with one other person, because you do have that third party energy of the camera crew. But that's beside the point. These people are fighting for survival. And when people get down to that point, their back is to the wall. They have ultimate stress because, not only are they worrying, or I should say, they're not worrying about like work stress, like, are they going to get their work done at the end of the day, so they don't get yelled at. I mean, they are trying to find water so they can survive, or food, or trying to make their shelter before the next storm. It's way different than what we go through on a daily basis. But it's funny because the way we live as a society, it's like we're on that show. We have our backs to the wall. We are exhausted. We are, hungry and thirsty. But we have the things that they don't have. We have food, we have water, we have shelter, and we have clothes, but that doesn't stop us from being hungry, thirsty, and exhausted. So just think about that for a second, because it's very ironic, because, with the food that we eat, we're starving ourselves from nutrients. Most of us barely get enough water. I know that that's always a challenge for me, to get enough water. I don't know why that is. I like water. I guess I need to get more of that shungite to make it feel a little softer going down. But then exhausted. This is a big one, and this is one thing that I've been struggling lately, which is getting enough sleep. And so many of us don't get enough sleep, and then we're trying to operate from a place where we're just perpetually exhausted and, malnourished and dehydrated. So anyway, this is like you're watching two people who've never met before until they get there and they see each other naked for the first time. They're only allowed to bring one tool each to make it in the wilderness. And I mean, they really have to work as a team. And the most important thing when you work as a team is communication. And that is the same as in relationships. So this is just, I mean, I enjoy watching it because it's so interesting seeing people from all walks of life coming together, and they're bringing all their baggage. And you know that when you get down, I mean, when you're getting close to death, that baggage, that emotional baggage and trauma is going to come out in emotional reactions, whether it's, out loud, like, just through complaining, or to that person that you're supposed to be working with. And it's been so interesting to watch. And I would recommend checking it out and watching the people and observing and just watching, and then thinking about the tools that we have within this just philosophy, and finding the spots where they could have utilized these tools to help their communication. And the 3 R's is a perfect example, because these people are frustrated that they're in this situation even though they put themselves in it. And when they can't get a fire for for 3 or 4 days, it's hard to purify water without a fire. But sometimes they're in like a tropical environment and the wood is too moist to start a fire. So just all these things, but their problems are simple. We have all, we're comfortable. We have all the things that they're fighting for, but we invent stresses to worry about. And in a sense, we live in the same environment, the same stressful environment in our bodies that they do, and they're trying to just survive and trying to get food and water and shelter. So, but getting back to what I was saying is, if you watch it from a place of non-judgment, non-emotional, non-judging of the people, and just watch how they interact, and you'll be able to see where these tools could have been utilized to bridge the gap of communication. And of course, we're all not perfect. So, if we were in that situation, if I was in that situation, I can't say that I would do, well, I would really, really hope that I would do much better, but, who knows? I can't guarantee that. When you're fighting for your life, it's a different situation than nowadays where you're just fighting for a paycheck. So I would really hope that I would have the strength to utilize this stuff. I've been working with Alexander for 3 years. I would really hope that I've trained myself enough to at least utilize some of this, to bridge that gap with the communication. But a lot of these people go in with an ego, like I'm going to show, nobody's going to stop me, and you're all going to be laughing when I make it 21 days. I forget to mention they go 21 days to try to survive. So yeah, a lot of these people come in from ego because they're all coming from that background of survival. And it's funny to see, not funny, but it's interesting to watch, to see people get humbled by the whole experience who thought it would be easy. And so that's just another lesson you can take from watching this, is never underestimate your next challenge. Always be humble. And be humbled by the experience and learn from it. But to me, there's just so many lessons interwoven in each episode, and so many places where you can learn from it. Okay, well, I see what this person did and how this person's energy was, and I could have applied this here, and it would have made that better. And some teams of 2 people, some of them. Very few have very few problems. I'll say that. So most of the episodes, are very challenging with their communication. So there's a lot of practice there, and I know we talk a lot about how it's practice for us to practice this in our lives, but everybody needs some downtime once in a while, and for me personally, I enjoy watching this show as some of my downtime because it's practice for me, for identifying where I can get better at seeing situations play out and identifying when that person's triggered, maybe when they're tired, and when I can start utilizing these things. So if you've have watched it before, but maybe you haven't watched it with this philosophy in mind, maybe check it out and come from this perspective. And I guarantee it'll be a whole other experience watching it with this in mind. And if you haven't ever seen it, then I would give it a shot if you're interested in trying to work on this while you're doing some downtime. So I don't know. I just wanted to share that because I feel like there's a lot of meat in this TV show. It's a gold mine for identifying mostly challenging communication experiences and situations. So anyway, I do appreciate you guys listening to that episode. I do think it's a great one, and this upcoming Monday we are releasing episode 39, and it's going to be talking about what it means to raise our vibration. And I'm really excited about this one. Again, it's another topic that is talked about a lot in all different places of life and spirituality and different types of groups around that. But it's like the term manifestation, where it can be used in different ways with different definitions depending on who's using it. And I like to have those conversations because it clarifies things for me personally when seeing all these different groups and people using the same phrase, and when things start to get mainstream, they start to get watered down, and you start to kind of miss what made it popular in the first place. And that's where I come from with this phrase, raise your vibration. It's something that I've been curious how it fits in with this philosophy. And so I was, sincerely coming from a place of ignorance when I brought this up to Alexander. So it was very cool to learn a lot along with you guys. And that's how it is in most of these episodes is there's very few episodes where I don't learn something along with you guys. So just keep that in mind. It's not just me, asking him stuff that I already know. That's what keeps it fresh and real. When you hear passion in my voice, that's truly passion. And I think our best episodes come when I'm able to come from a place of total ignorance and pull that information out of him, information that I feel is are the same questions that you guys would want to hear if as you listen to it. So again, we appreciate all of you guys out there, and we're always looking for suggestions on how to make this podcast better, these videos better. So if you have any ideas, even like it would be cool if, those types of ideas, where it's just something that you'd think would be cool if we did, don't be afraid to contact us on Facebook. We have a Facebook group. We have our Facebook page. We have an Instagram. We have our website. And I think we have our email addresses on there on the website. So we have many places for you to contact us. I mean, even in the comments down below. And don't forget to like this video. Leave them there, because we're doing this for you, and I feel like I want to serve you guys. I think it's really fun to do this, to create this content, and then to watch you guys interact with it. That's something that I've always wanted to do since I can remember, is to create a product and then just watch people interact with it. So I really appreciate everybody who's interacted with it so far, and feel free to support us and shoot this podcast, these episodes, to like-minded individuals who you think will enjoy it. And the more we share this podcast, the more people listen to it on a bi-weekly basis, and the more people we get to listen to it, the more overall support we'll get, and that includes more sharing, more interaction in our Facebook groups, and of course more people subscribing to our Patreon page, which increases our funding, because Alexander and I do this for free. We take time out of our week every week, so I go there and visit Alexander in his studio every week. And I would love it. I would love to do it more than once a week. I would love to make this a larger staple of my life, but we can't do it until we get big enough to where we're having enough monetary support come in, where it can kind of pay us a little bit to not work on the days that we would get together. So I'm looking forward to making more content, and that's my goal. My goal is to keep finding creative ways to make more of this content for you, like this video. Like, we had this idea to do these reflections after, and it may morph into something different. It may not be these videos. I'm not sure where it's going. But if you do like this kind of format, where we have like our reflections after, and sometimes Alexander does one, sometimes he doesn't, because it depends on whether he feels like he needs to clarify stuff of what he said. Let us know if we are doing something right. So let us know if this is something you like, or if you think it should be a little different. Again, we're completely humble and open to suggestions, because ultimately we just want to grow the podcast, and ultimately I want to do this more. I want to talk about these things more. I want to engage with you guys more. It really feeds my soul to be interacting with you guys. So again, I'm extremely grateful for all of you, and I hope you can see that in my eyes and my heart. Namaste. Hope to interact with you guys more in the near future. So thank you, and let's keep journeying.